Hold on. I'm gonna have to sit right back here then. But here we are. Right, today's video, I have recently, you may have seen, you may not follow me on Instagram, but if you do, you may have seen that I've started doing a few more question boxes, and I've been getting loads of questions through that basically need a bit more of an answer than just one Instagram story. So Frankie's asleep, and I thought I would do some. That your period is coming after having HA. Okay, now this can actually be a really, really wild experience. Partly because although yes, there's physical signs, there's also a lot of like emotional and like difficult to deal with. So like I'll come a little bit closer. My experience with this was that I have been on the pill for what? Years. I don't know. Look back at one of my videos. I'm sure I've worked it out. So from when I was 16 until I was like, what, 21? And because I was on the pill for that long, I didn't really know who I was. And one of the biggest signs that I found when my hormones started balancing was that big change in emotion, in mood. I remember I finally started crying at films. I would start to feel certain things. I feel like for me, the pill really numbed that. So that was one of like the first signs that I thought, okay, maybe I'm doing the right thing here, because I started to feel a lot more. And then in terms of physical signs, I had quite a lot of ghost periods to start with. Now, ghost periods are basically where you have all the signs, all the period cramps, all the tender boobs, all the mood swings, all the spots, but no actual bleed. In terms of signs my period was actually coming, I had a lot of ghost periods. So huge increase in cervical mucus. So that was more white and like creamy. I also felt like I would get bloated. So a couple of weeks before my first period came, I did notice egg white cervical mucus, which is a sign of ovulation. Someone has said here, I'm having signs that my period is coming, but I'm still under eating and exercising. Yeah, you can have a lot of signs. You could literally bring your hormones up to the barrier. So say there's a line. Hold on, I'll put my drink down. Say there's a line that your body is like, yeah, we're comfortable enough to have a period. You might just be sitting just underneath it. So you've got all of these signs. You've maybe got increased cervical mucus. It's like literally a sign that your body is trying and your body is nearly there. But because you're still under eating and because you're still exercising, you're increasing that debt, that energy debt in your body, which is meaning that although your body's trying, it's just not able to be quite there yet. With horrible cramps and every other PMS symptom, but having the period, yeah, I would say, and they've put here good sign. Yeah, I think these are good signs. It's so much better than having no signs at all, right? Which when I had a good 6 months of having like 0 signs at all. So I do think, yes, it's a good sign, but what might be beneficial is you getting your blood work done if this happens, like, say this happens again next month, get your bloods done again just to see where you're at. Often a dietitian, endocrinologist can just look at that and be like, there's the problem, maybe really low estrogen. Oh, what's your diet like? Oh, yeah, maybe just a few more carbohydrates, maybe just a few more fats, just to help that hormone production. Maybe you're doing all the right things, just a little bit more patient, your body's working on it. So it might be worth to get your blood work done. Would you mind explaining when to know if I've got my period back? Yes. Good question, actually, because just because you have a bleed doesn't necessarily mean that you're ovulating. So how you would know is you would want to obviously have a bleed, but then it would be a good idea to get your blood work done and also to track your ovulation. You want to make sure that you're ovulating nicely and then also having that bleed. But if you were in HA, but because this person also said to me, I don't want to get excited, but today I bled, not huge amounts, and I've had stomach cramps and bloating. I've only had 2 periods in my life and I don't know if this is a phantom bleed or not. I would still say, please, please, please celebrate all of your wins. Even if this isn't your quote unquote perfect period, the fact that you're bleeding and this is maybe only the second time you've ever had this in your life, this is fantastic news. So really, really celebrate. I like to call them over here period parties. You're more than welcome to use that term. Finding things harder now. Before I started with a nutritionist and a therapist, is this normal? Man, this is so common. I actually cannot get over it. Here's my theory, right? I have got shorts on, by the way. Here's my theory. We are type A personalities. a lot of us, we want to find the information. Some of us are perfectionists. We want to find all of the information and then we're gonna action it. The research phase is the easy phase. You put all your ducks in a row and you finally go to see someone, and the medical professional goes, you need to do this, 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 and this. In theory, that is all great. But then it comes to the action, and the action is the hard bit. The action, if you think we have been conditioned to live a certain way for so long, whether that's diet culture and eat less, move more, whether that's, creating our own control or our own food rules, whether that's the skinny revelation or the Kim K look, there's so many things that factor our life, and you think, depending on how long you've been doing this for, you've been conditioned potentially for years to live a certain way, and a medical professional or a nutritionist, whatever, has just come in and gone, you need to do this. Also, if you factor in the therapist, that's digging deep, real hard shit and trying to unlearn a lot. So not only are you having to change habits, which is hard anyway, you're also going against cultural norms where often we're applauded for losing weight, or it's that whole eat less, move more, because that's what potentially the mass population need. So you're going against the grain for that as well. But then also during this phase, you're also uncovering all of these really probably like emotions and things that you've tried to suppress, and all of this mashed together makes it really, really hard. Doing the work is so much harder than the research phase. So yeah, it is so common to be put in a bit of in a way, you're like backed into a corner, aren't you? You're like, oh, and now the only thing that's left is for you to take action, and the taking action is a really, really difficult thing. I've got a good tip here. I would just take a couple of things, or maybe just one thing, and just ease yourself in. Bring yourself back a few steps. So if you've got your whole goal as getting your period back, bring it right back. Right, what are the one actionable step that I can do today based off what all of these medical professionals have said that I can do today to be able to help that? Because often we're so focused on this big picture. We need to eat loads of carbs. We need to reduce our exercise. We need to do this. And it's so overwhelming that actually we freeze and we hate it, and we stop and we don't do anything. We go back to old habits and we feel really out of control, which if you used food and exercise as a way to control yourself, as a way to control, then that can be really hard. So just bring it back. Just pick a couple of things, achievable, but you're still pushing your boundaries, but they feel a little bit more achievable, and just focus on that today. My biggest tip throughout recovery is you have to stay present. You have to stay mindful. Just take each day as it comes, and on those days that you do fall off the wagon, if you like, if those days where you do restrict and you do get overwhelmed, don't beat yourself up. We can just go again. Boom. I think I might leave it there. I'm quite tired today. I don't know why. Around 3ish, I'm baby life, work life, merging it all together just gets a little bit much. So I'm going to leave it there today. But and I'm actually I'll pop this into my laptop now, finish my coffee and edit this and get it up. Look at me go. 2 videos, 2 weeks. I hope this helps. Bye.